Hello, and welcome to Calmsden Farms. Susie and I have successfully made the move over here, and we're getting set up. We've got set up in the house. I have started to sort out a little area that we're gonna build some factories on, and I'm just pottering about doing little bits of contracting work. So as you can see, I've got this cultivator on the back of our McCormick, which has been re-registered to a British number plate. And so I'm just going about getting on with some contracting work. I think I need to head down here. So this is bought, we own this cultivator now. It just seemed to make sense. There's quite a lot of cultivating work to do as a contractor in the area, and it was going cheap. It's only cost us £9,000 to get hold of this. So actually, having our own one made sense. I have negotiated with a local farm. They're having a little bit of difficulty at the moment with their money. So their regular farm workers, most of them have left. So I've managed to negotiate a deal, some land that they weren't using. It failed development. They were originally going to develop on it, and it failed passing that. Let me just check this is the right field. Yes, I believe it is. Withered crop. Yep, it's the right place. So let's head down and start at the end here. So the field I'm renting, effectively, they've let me have it for free because it's been built up ready for development. So it kind of been concreted and everything, but the development of the housing estate wasn't able to go ahead. So because that was viewed as not adding anything to the area, my suggestion of putting some factories on it and kind of adding to the area with industry, with shops, that has gone through. We have passed planning permission, so I've been given access to the land for free, but on the basis that because they've lost their farm workers, I will help out with some light farm work. That suits me down to the ground, because the idea was that we weren't gonna own and run a farm, because that's probably going to be a bit much with a new baby imminently on the way. However, keeping some factories ticking over, automated processes inside, and just keeping them topped up with what they need, etc., that seems perfectly viable to me. And a little bit of, I'll go out and cultivate this field today, and oh okay, I'll run a harvester, that seems doable. So we'll make our money that way. Right, I am gonna keep going with this. It's quite a large field, and it's only an 8-metre cultivator, so it's probably going to take me a good chunk of time, and I will catch up with you in a little bit. Okay, so we're all done on that contract. The field is nicely turned over. I'm going to drop this cultivator off in our field because I don't think Susie will appreciate if I park it on the driveway. It's bad enough parking the tractor on the driveway. So our field is just down here. Oh, hop out and open the gate. I need to get used to leaving this open. I think it's not like there's livestock in there to escape if I leave the gate open. There we go, in we go. And you can see it has been set up very nicely for building on. It's just not gonna be that great for field work, obviously, so it's no good to the farm. And the planning permission failed on the houses, so it's a nice big space for us to use. We've got lots of access in and out. Ooh. That might need sorting out a bit, but it's a good little space. So I think one of the first things we're going to get is a carpentry, and we will start producing some furniture and maybe an oil mill as well, and buy some crops in to go into that. Right, head home, see Susie and have some lunch, and then nip over to the farm and see what they want me to get done today. Yes, you can see what I meant about the tractor on the driveway of the house. Yeah. We might move it over to the yard eventually, but for now it's more convenient just to have the second vehicle at the house. Right. Ooh, dear, look. 2 of them. 3. Wow. Right. Just going to pop and see Robert and Julie and see what they would like me to be doing today. Okay. Well, guess what? It must be that time of year. There's some cultivating to do. So, one of their fields at the end of last year, they didn't have time to harvest it, so the crop withered. So there is a field of withered crop which they need cultivating. They have a small tractor and a 3-metre cultivator on their farm, but when I mentioned I had a bigger one and that could get it done quicker, that's what we've decided to go with. There is also going to be some slurry spreading to do because they have some fields, some grass fields, and they just need a bit of extra fertilising to get some growth going on them. We're in January, so they're not going to be growing just yet, but get the nitrogen levels up so that we can get maximum yield off them in probably March, when we actually give them a cut. So I'm going to go pick up the cultivator, head down to that field that needs cultivating, get that job underway. Ooh, my trailer's arrived. I wasn't expecting this just yet. So that cultivating job that I did paid out 30,000, and I used that money and then a little bit more. So this cost us 46,000 in total. But I used the money to put towards this. This is my trailer. So belongs to our enterprise here. I figured for purchasing of bulk crop and delivering that, it would be very good. But also, it is modular. So you see these pins here in the sides. The pins all pull out. The side panels and the rear panel come off completely, and it's a flatbed trailer, perfect for transporting pallets out of factories. So I thought that was a great deal. It's cost us 46,000. The contract paid for 30,000 of that, so we're only actually down 16,000. And I think for 16,000 and a morning's work, that's not a bad trailer. Anyway, let's grab the cultivator. I'm going to leave that there because it's not going to get in the way of the building work. I'm hoping our first factory will be finished by next month. There we go. Right, I'll see you on the field. Okay, so this is sort of the main farmyard, which looks very, very small. And I think in here, yes, in here is the 3-metre cultivator. It's got a cover crop attachment on the top for putting cover crops into the ground. So using that, they did manage to drill in 2 small fields. I think this is one just down here. Yes. So this is canola, which they were able to put in with that cultivator. And this field over here is canola. It's actually, if I'm honest, rather a sad story. So, Robert and Julie if I'm honest, it's actually rather a sad story of what has happened to the farm. They are running with £885,000 of debt, which mostly has come in the form of loans for machinery purchase. That's not been helped by a couple of years of bad harvests, short-term worker shortages. Obviously there's quite a bit of that been going around. Last year they didn't manage to fully complete the harvest, as can be seen on this field. So this whole field of wheat was just left to wither. The bank stepped in and unfortunately seized most of the equipment and one of the farm sites. So there is a second farmyard, which is kind of the main yard, and an awful lot of the machinery was seized with that. So there's a big drill, a big cultivator, several more tractors, a harvester as well. And the bank seized that because basically they said, well look, this is how we're gonna recoup our losses. If we have to, we will sell this equipment. what currently remains down here is a small cow farm. So let me just hop out. So here we have 60 cows. They are due to give birth within the next few months, which is why they haven't been seized and sold on. They would fetch quite a bit of money, but the well-being of the cows is what's been taken to heart here. So they are being kept on until the calves are born, and they are being looked after, and the farm is being allowed to run in a small capacity to allow these cows to have the best well-being that they possibly can. So that's kind of where the farm stands. There's just short of 20,000 in the bank balance at the moment. There is some barley which was saved from the harvest. That was what they managed to harvest last year, so that will bring some income. We will check the prices and check when the prices are going to peak and make sure that gets sold when the farm will get the most amount of money for it. And I'm sure a lot of that money will be taken by the bank in order to put a small dent in the debts, but some of that we might be able to hang on to use in the farm's bank balance. That one might need to be justified with the bank, but it's okay. We will do what we can. So a little bit about who owns the farm, who is here on the farm. Robert and Julie own the farm. Robert has been doing work on the farm. He's struggled a lot in the past year. He fell ill about a year ago, and it's taken a long time to recover. It's something that's been going around and affecting quite a few people recently. But yeah, he's trying to get out and do little bits, but just not able to do day on end, which obviously on a farm like this kind of is more necessary. Now, Robert and Julie weren't brought up farming. They came and they bought the farm here at Calmsden after both their children had left for university. And Robert he set it up with a farm manager who was going to do most of the work, but his aim was to kind of get out and do some of the jobs. Right, let's just nick that there. Why is that not going in? Interesting. That might need dealing with. Might have to get the proper weed killer out and spray that down. So Robert set the farm up with farm manager Shane. He was... I'm going to have to come back and get that bit, aren't I? So, Shane was the farm manager who Robert put in place on the farm. He had grown up on farms, was well versed in all aspects of running a farm, and it was on his advice and his hopes that a lot of the investment took place in the farm, he had been hoping that some heavy investment in new equipment would help Robert and Julie begin to turn a profit on the farm. He unfortunately caught the same illness that Robert has been suffering with. It was right at harvest time, and it meant that because he wasn't there to oversee the harvest, and they were obviously then short-handed for the harvest, they managed to get some fields harvested, but not all of them. So, like, this one was left unharvested. The bank's decision to close the upper farm site, so just over there behind the trees, let's just hop out for a second. So the farm site just up here behind the trees, and the equipment they've seized just over there. That decision led to Shane handing in his resignation, and he's now moved onto a farm actually neighbouring the one that we ran at Attingham. So that's where Shane is at now. They also had a full-time farmhand called Glenn. He had a number of years' experience working on this farm, but unfortunately with the bank seizing the upper farm and most of the equipment and the lack of money in the bank account, Robert and Julie had been struggling to pay him. So he mostly works elsewhere in the area, works for other farmers around this area. He is still available as a contractor from time to time, but very much wants paying as he's doing the work. He doesn't own his own tractor, so obviously we'd need to make sure we're providing him with a tractor. He used to run one of the tractors up here, so he didn't have his own. He's still happy to do work from time to time, which is good. He just obviously and understandably wants to make sure he's being paid for it as he's doing it. Now, Darren is still here. He is the herd manager for the cattle. Despite some of the issues with being paid, he has hung around and stuck it out. He's a really caring guy. He just wants the best for the animals, and it's really, really great to see. Obviously, as herd manager, he spends most of his time with the cattle, tending to their needs, making sure they're fed. But he does get out to do some of the less intensive field work. He was quite helpful at harvest time, so when they were harvesting the fields, Glenn was in the harvester and Darren was running a trailer back and forth to empty the harvester. So he helps out occasionally with the field work when needed, when it's a case of all hands on deck, but mostly his work is with the cattle. That's about where we're at in terms of farm workers and employees and who we've got around and about to help us out. So I'm aware as an introduction that this has carried on for quite a while. I hope you will stick with us on this journey, but for now, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. Please do jump on the like button, share this video with your friends, and get subscribed to the channel if you're not already subscribed. But most importantly of all, have a great day.